Hello and good morning. I'm Holly reporting to you live from 𝐊𝐶𝐿 studio in Sydney. You're watching The Early Trades, a show where we share with you a glimpse at the Australian share market opening trades along with the global and domestic drivers triggering the market momentum. In our first segment of the show today, we'll be looking at how the early morning trades panned out, taking cues from Wall Street action overnight. Then in the last segment, we'll look at the prominent newsmakers grabbing the headlines during the early trade hours, as well as movements seen in crude oil, gold and metal indices. Before we look at the US market, let's quickly take this latest update from the ASX. The Australian share market has opened in the red today. It seems unaffected by strong cues from US markets that rose after the latest labour data showed jobless claims benefits fell last week. The bottom performing stocks in the benchmark ASX 200 index are BHP and Fortescue Metals in the morning trades. And if we look at yesterday's performance on Thursday, the Australian market closed 0.1% higher. And now let's have a look at the US market landscape. The benchmark US indices closed higher in the overnight trades on Thursday, after data showed jobless benefits claims fell sharply last week, and a positive economic outlook drove investors to bet on stocks perceived as riskier than the safe haven assets. The S&P 500 was 0.60% up, whereas the Dow Jones rose 0.78%. The Nasdaq Composite gained 0.78% as well. The US Labor Department said on Thursday that jobless benefits claims declined by 14,000 to 385,000 in the week ending July 31. The layoffs declined to their lowest level in the last 21 years as companies held on to their employees as the labour shortage exacerbated. However, the jobless figure remains nearly twice the number from the pre-pandemic level, which has been a major cause of worry for the economy. Next up, energy and consumer discretionary stocks were among the top gainers. The tech sector provided the most significant boost to the S&P 500 in Thursday's session. 9 of the 11 sectors on the index remained in the green, as basic materials and healthcare stocks trailed. Shares of Cigna plunged more than 11% in the intraday trading. Healthcare and insurance company reported its second quarter earnings on Thursday, showing revenue growth of more than 6,400% year on year. The earnings per share for Cigna were at $5.24 US, topping analyst expectations. Now, despite the general uptick of online shopping under pandemic conditions, not every store is doing well. E-commerce firm Etsy stock dropped over 7% after it reported lower than expected second quarter earnings. Its earnings per share came in at 0.68 US cents on revenue of $528.9 million. Plus, the stock of online marketplace Fiverr ticked down 24.92% in its intraday trading after reporting June quarter earnings. Its revenue jumped 59.69% year on year, and earnings were 0.19 US per share above the analyst projections. Although the tech stocks are on the up and up, Microsoft rose 0.81%. Adobe increased by 0.88% and Salesforce.com gained 2.24%. Plus, Nvidia ticked up 1.57% and Square is up a whopping 6.09%. Well, let's take a quick break right now, but stay tuned on 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐚 TV.
Property by 𝐊𝐿𝐴𝐚. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest slowdown in the property market, tune in on 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴.
Welcome back. I'm your host Holly, live from 𝐊𝐼𝐴 Studio in Sydney, and you're watching the early trade. Moving on now to our last segment of the show, let's quickly look at the highlights of the prominent ASX stocks under the spotlight during the early trades. First on the list today is Mayfield Childcare, which has declared an interim dividend of 2.47 cents per share, totaling to a full year financial 2021 dividend of $4.47. The dividend has been declared on the back of a 129.4% jump to $1.3 million net profit in the second half of financial year 21. Next up is Midas X, whose CEO Michael Spreadborough will step down from his role, effective from Monday next week. He'll be joining Canadian-Australian gold miner Novo Resources as its executive co-chairman. Moving on now, and miner BHP Group has committed a total of $544 million in capex to develop its Shenzi North Oil project in the US Gulf of Mexico. It also flagged a $258 million capital expenditure to move its Trion oil project in Mexico to the front-end engineering design phase. Meanwhile, some news on News Corporation, which has reported a profitable financial year 21, recording a 4% jump in revenue, while the net income surged to $389 million compared to $1.55 billion in losses last year. The company's book publishing business saw a jump as well of 19% in revenue on the financial year 21. Next up, we have New Zealand retail chain Briscoe Group. The company saw an increase of 64% in net profit in 26 weeks to the 1st of August. The management said the results benefit from the pent-up demand in New Zealand, leading to a 22.3% increase in revenue during the same period. And that's all we have in the stock space. Before we wrap up, let's have a quick look at the futures and commodities, which are quite the mixed bag. Gold futures were down 0.45%. Silver decreased by 1.09%, while copper ticked up by 0.35%. Meanwhile, the Brent oil futures increased by 1.15%, and WTI was up as well, 1.41%. And lastly, the bond market is climbing high as the 30-year Treasury bond yields were up 1.20%, while the 10-year bond yields rose 3.48%. In the currency space, US dollar futures index, however, increased by just 0.01%. And that's all for now on the early morning trades. Stay tuned with 𝐊𝐼𝐼 TV as we have many more shows lined up for you, sharing the live updates across the economy, markets, and diverse themes in the sectors. Holly Shields signing off.